Hi, boys and girls. Well, today we're still going to stay in the Middle East, but we're going to travel to one specific country where they started the tradition of Hanukkah, and we're going to be in Israel. And Israel is a very small country that is part of the Middle East. So today we're going to be in Israel where they started the tradition of Hanukkah. And so let's find out some interesting facts about the celebration of Hanukkah. And to do that, I'm going to use a book because books can hold a lot of information. And this book is called The 8 Nights of Hanukkah. And I can see that this celebration also uses candles. We've had a lot of celebrations that use candles. Diwali had candles, Kwanzaa had candles, Ramadan they lit candles, and now here we are with candles again. Seems to be a very big part of celebrations and traditions was to have candles to show the light and how good can win over evil. So here we go, my friends. Let's learn about the 8 nights of Hanukkah. Title page. And this book is written by Judy Nair and it's illustrated by Yuri Saltzman. I see that this family is playing the game of Dreidel, and we're going to learn about the game of Dreidel in our next lesson. The first night. So I can see up here in the corner, they are showing that they have lit the first candle. So the candle in the middle is the candle they use to light all the other candles in the menorah. At last, Hanukkah is here. Tonight is the first night. I'm Rebecca, and my family and I are getting ready to celebrate. Dad gets the menorah. Mum and I clean and polish it until it shines. My little brother Josh finds the candles. Then we wait for sundown. Oh, sun down. Sundown, a compound word. The sun has set. It is finally time to light the menorah. Dad is going to let me light the first candle all by myself. First, he lights the shamas. That's the helper candle that lights all the others. Dad hands the shamas to me. Very carefully, I use it to light the first Hanukkah candle. Mom and Dad recite the blessings in English and in Hebrew. Hebrew is another language they use. We put the menorah in front of the window so everyone will see our Hanukkah lights. After dinner, Josh and I open the first of our Hanukkah presents. We both get new backpacks. We'll get another present from our parents each night, although not every family celebrates this way. So there they've put the menorah in the window so everyone can see how they have lit the first candle on the first night of Hanukkah. The second night, so we can see that now we have 2 candles lit with the shamas in the middle. Tonight is the second night of Hanukkah. Josh uses the shamas to light 2 candles. Then Dad tells the story of Hanukkah. A long, long time ago in the land of Judea, the Jewish people lived peacefully. They believed in only one God and prayed in the beautiful temple in Jerusalem. But when a Syrian king became ruler, everything changed. He said the Jewish people should pray to many gods as he did. He said the Jewish religion was not allowed. One day, the king's soldiers traveled to the Jewish town of Modin. They asked a wise old man named Matthias to bow down to a statue of one of their gods. Matthias refused. This made the king furious. He sent his men to destroy the temple of Jerusalem and to punish any Jews who would not obey him. That doesn't sound very fair, because we should all be allowed to believe in what our belief wants to be. All might have been lost if it had not been for Matthias and his 5 sons. They gathered a small band of Jews to fight back. The oldest son, Judah, became their leader. He trained the men to be soldiers, and soon they had a small army. And do you know what they were called? Asked Dad. The Maccabees, I shouted. That's right, says Dad. They were so strong they were called the Maccabees, the Hebrew word for hammers. The king's army was huge. It had thousands of soldiers, but the Maccabees were clever. They hid in caves and made surprise attacks. Little by little, they began to defeat the king's army. Finally, after 3 long years, the soldiers gave up. Finally, 3 years. Can you imagine a war that lasted for 3 years? Thank goodness the people persevered and kept on going. Judea and the Maccabees marched into Jerusalem. The people took back their temple and began working to make it beautiful again. They cleaned and polished the wood and stone and repaired the walls. They took out the Syrian king's statues and built a new altar. At last the temple was ready to be dedicated to God again. It was time to light the traditional 7-candle menorah, the symbol of the Jews' love for God. The menorah was supposed to remain lit all the time, but the people could only find a small jar of oil. It was only enough to last for just 1 day. It would take 8 days to make more oil. The Jews were too excited about opening their temple again to wait. They decided to pour the oil into the lamp anyway. And do you know what happened? Asked Dad. The menorah burned for 8 whole days, I answered. It was a miracle, adds Josh. That's right, said Dad. It was a miracle that the oil lasted for 8 days, just enough time to make more oil. And it was a miracle that a small group of soldiers could defeat a huge army. And that's why we celebrate 8 days of Hanukkah, right? I asked. And that's also why we have a different Hanukkah menorah with room for 8 candles. That's right, says Dad. So in the beginning, they used to have a menorah that only used to have room for 7 candles. And now we have one that has room for 8 candles due to the miracle of the oil lasting for the 8 days, which was great. And this is some information about why we celebrate Hanukkah when we do. The 3rd night, and now I can see that our menorah has 3 candles lit. Tonight is the 3rd night of Hanukkah. Mom and I light 3 candles. Then Grandma Esther comes. Every year, Grandma brings her special homemade potato pancakes. She makes the best potato pancakes in the world. Did you bring the potato pancakes, Grandma? I asked. No, Grandma answers. This time I'm going to make my latkes right here, and you're going to help. Grandma takes out all of the ingredients. Then we get to work. I help Grandma grate the potatoes and the onions. Then I mix in the eggs, flour, and salt. Grandma pours some oil into a big frying pan. When the oil is hot, she spoons small amounts of the batter into the pan. I want to help with this part, but the oil is too hot. Soon the potato pancakes are crispy and brown on both sides. Grandma lifts them out of the pan with a spatula and puts them on paper towels to drain. The latkes smell really yummy. I can't wait to eat them. Grandma doesn't make me wait. She gives me a bowl of applesauce to dip them in, and I take a taste. Mmm, So there they are cooking. They've taken some raw ingredients, put it in hot oil, kind of like the oil that they used to light their candles at the very first Hanukkah. And it changed the consistency, and now they have the latkes, the hot potato pancakes that are ready to eat. And it sounds like she's going to dip it in the applesauce, which is what she did. The fourth night. Tonight is the fourth night of Hanukkah. After we light the candles, Dad sends us on a treasure hunt. Josh and I search the whole house for Hanukkah gelt. Gelt means money in Yiddish. I think Dad hides the best kind of money, chocolate money. I find 10 chocolate coins all wrapped in gold foil. Josh finds 7, but Dad gives him 3 more so that it's even. Because we know when it's even, that's fair. It likes to share, just like we've been doing in our math. So he found 7, which is an odd number, and he needed 3 more to make 10, which is how many Rebecca had. Mom makes us wait until after dinner to eat our chocolate money. Then Dad says, "Now let's see if you can find some real money." He hands me a folded piece of paper. "Here's your clue," he says. I open it and read, "What shines and flickers in the night to fill the room with glowing light." What do you think it is? What shines and flickers in the night to fill the room with glowing light. I think there's a clue in that picture what it is. What do you think? Yep, if you said the menorah, you are totally right. "That's easy," I shout. "It's the menorah." Josh and I run to the menorah on the windowsill. There is a small envelope right next to it. Inside is a $5 bill for each of us. So if Rebecca gets 5 and Josh gets 5, how much do they have altogether? Yep, you're right, 10, because we know 5 and 5 make 10. That's a double. The fifth night. Tonight is the 5th night of Hanukkah. After we light the candles, Mom, Dad, Josh, and I play the Dreidel Game. We sit in a circle on the floor. Everyone gets 5 pieces of Hanukkah gelt. Dad puts 3 pieces of gelt in a pile in the middle of the circle. Then we take turns spinning the dreidel. On my first turn, the dreidel lands on the Hebrew letter for none, so I get nothing. But on my next turn, the dreidel lands on the letter Gimel. That means I get the whole pile. Soon, I win the game. And in our next lesson, we're going to learn more about the game of dreidel. The 6th night. So if we're at the 6th night, I wonder how many nights we have left to go. Looking at the menorah will give me a clue. Tonight is the 6th night of Hanukkah. Grandma Sarah and Grandpa Lou come over with their arms full of presents. First we light the candles on the menorah. Then we open the presents. I get a soccer ball and a bead-making kit. Josh gets a basketball and a building toy. We surprise Grandma and Grandpa when they see what presents we have for them too. They love the picture frames that we made for them. And I noticed that their picture frame is using the frame of the Star of David, and then they put their picture in the middle to be able to give the gifts to their grandparents. The 7th night. Tonight is the 7th night of Hanukkah. When we light the candles this time, we're a little sad. Hanukkah is almost over. Josh and I put on a play for Mum and Dad about the Maccabees. I make my costume and help Josh make his. He is Judea, the Maccabee, and I am one of his soldiers." And they are getting ready to act out the story that they learned on the second night. Is that Star of David again being used as a decoration on the shield held by the soldier. The eighth night. Now we know all the candles are lit. Tonight is the last night of Hanukkah. We're having company again, and Josh and I are busy making cards for everyone. We know lots of celebrations where cards are used to pass on good wishes from us to others. My favorite one is the shape of a dreidel. After our friends and relatives arrive, we light the candles. We exchange cards and presents. Soon Hanukkah is over. I miss it already. I can't wait until Hanukkah comes again next year. There they are exchanging their cards. What a great family tradition, a celebration where people can share good feelings and good wishes with each other. So that was Hanukkah. And in this one, we heard about how they took raw ingredients and added hot oil and changed the form from a raw ingredient to a food that we could find tasty and eat. I want you to think of some other things that we cook from a raw state to a cooked state by adding heat. One that I know is I break open eggs, mix it with a little bit of milk and butter, cook it in a frying pan, and then I have scrambled eggs. I wonder what's another one where I take a raw ingredient, add heat, and change it. Turkey from like Thanksgiving, where I took the turkey, I added stuffing to it, put it in the oven, added heat, and then the next thing I knew, I had delicious turkey to eat. I would like you scientists to think of a food where you had a raw ingredient, you added heat, and changed it to a cooked food that you could eat. I wonder what you'll come up with. Think of 4. Let me see.